Well, I've been doing it kind of all my life. I'm an engineer by trade. I went to engineering school, studied mechanical engineering, and spent the first 15, 16 years of my life in aerospace. I did a brief stint at SpaceX for just a matter of 9 months or so. And right then I got to know Rob Dickinson from Singer Design. We became friends and we started working on some little side projects together. So after that, I left SpaceX and jumped on board to Singer Design. But yeah, really, I've been into cars all my life. You know, the day job was just an excuse to make the money to pay the rent and pay for parts for my cars, because as soon as I got home, I'd be in the garage. And then right around 2014, 2015, I started my business, DB Mechanics, here in Montebello. I specialize in air-cooled Porsche and anything interesting. My heart and soul's Alfa Romeo, but you know, I also love Porsche air-cooled specifically a lot. And you know, if you work on those two marques, occasionally you get other weird cars in here. So that's why there's Fiats and Lotuses in the shop. My dad had a 914 when I was growing up, and I got to know the cars. Funny enough, I had never driven in my dad's car because he parked it right around the time I was born, and it became just one of those cars that's just in the garage forever. But I always had a fascination for Porsche. You know, you open the door, you close the door, it makes that particular beautiful sound. And I feel like all classic Porsches smell the same. Like you close the door and you just kind of take it in. It's this unique smell. It's hard to explain, but everybody knows it. If you have a classic Porsche, they all have that similar scent to them. And then when you sit down, I mean, the gauges are what really pops out at you. That fat tack in the middle with only your vitals around you. I love the minimalistic, very sports car type philosophy that Porsche took early on. And I love that it carries that DNA all the way through until about the late 90s, which is when I lose interest in Porsche. It's right around when they went water-cooled. That's the last of the ones that I really, you know, I'm interested in. When I could afford it, I started looking into 911s and trying to do some research on what the ideal model to buy would be. I decided that 964 was the car for me. So I kind of just had a fascination for them. I thought they were all the classic look of the 911 with all the elements of 911s that you love, but with a little bit better and more refined suspension and creature comforts like air conditioning that actually works, and you know, stereo and all the stuff that, you know, makes it friendly for daily driving. Early on, when I first started the business, within a few months, I got to know this fellow, Eli Kogan, who was a young Porsche enthusiast. He was just getting into cars. He kind of went directly into 964s, if I recall correctly. And he showed up one day with a fresh 91 964, which he had just purchased, looking to do all the typical upgrades that everybody wants to do when you get one of those cars. But you know, the more you get into it, the more you start to kind of study the cars and realize that the ultimate car, the holy grail car, is maybe like an RS or perhaps a cup car. And Eli became more and more interested in kind of modifying this car to get to that spec. That kind of lined up with the relationship that we had going with KW Suspensions and the fact that there was SEMA coming up soon. That's in 2017. So we kind of sat down over dinner one night and started discussing ideas of what would make a really cool SEMA car. If you've been to SEMA, you know, traditionally it's full of lifted trucks, lots of chrome, wild paint jobs, you know, a lot of over-the-top stuff. And I mean, that's absolutely not our style. You know, I'm really into like pure sports cars, minimalism in the car. Everything in the car has to do something and be purpose built. So really, that's not the philosophy that a lot of people take at SEMA. It was a crazy short deadline. I mean, SEMA is, I think, at the end of October, and this was midsummer when we decided to do it. And I mean, to do something like that took many hours of work. So, you know, I woke up the next day saying, oh man, I don't know what I committed to, but we're gonna do it, you know? I cleared up some work in the shop, and within a couple of weeks, I brought the car in and we just attacked it, you know? Interior came out, we deleted the sunroof, so we had to prep all the work to get that going. We were gonna do a full 6-point roll cage in the car, full suspension overhaul. We were gonna repaint the car all white and really kind of like take a lot of influence from the, you know, RS Cup cars from Europe, you know. So yeah, we attacked that project really hard. And I mean, it's one of those things, just like on the reality shows, where literally the day before it has to get on the truck, you're still working on it until 3 in the morning. And that was just kind of one of those projects, you know. We worked really hard and we got that thing done, and it came out really beautiful. You know, all the parts on it, the suspension, the wheels, the way the roll cage looked, the Alcantara treatment to the interior, just was absolutely beautiful. You know, I was really happy with the outcome, and we were literally slapping some sponsorship decals on the car when we got to SEMA the day before because we just had no time. You know, people look twice at that car, and I was really happy with it. I really liked the way it came out. I really liked how it kind of like was completely different than anything there. And we got a really nice response from it. When you take that approach to a car, it's gonna have this kind of timeless element to it where it ages gracefully. I think the car has this timelessness to it that you get when you kind of take a factory philosophy towards the build. You know, and that's what really makes the car cool to me in my book. I really love the way Mo's taken the car now. You know, it looks really nice. The fit and finish, the interior colors, he made really good choices with the car, and it's probably the direction I would have gone with it had I got to see the car all the way through to today. You know, and then of course, getting Jeff on board with his motor program and all that stuff, I mean, he's the best in the business. It's cool to see that. I would love to get behind the wheel. I mean, that thing must be a real screamer. You know, so yeah, I love it. It's a rad car. It's a rad car.